Hey, what's up, podcast listeners? Glad to have you here. It is 10:46 p.m. on the Sunday before Memorial Day as I'm recording this. And I tell you every day, our contract is you listen, you subscribe, you rate this podcast, and I'm going to publish something every single day. So I'm in here on this Sunday before midnight. And it was actually really apropos because I'm up kind of doing a little bit of work for tomorrow's show, even though tomorrow is Memorial Day. So it was kind of a pretty good, I thought, entry point into talking about something that I think goes overlooked when people sometimes consider, I'm using air quotes here, like the glamour of being in media or the allure of being in media. Like sometimes it sucks to work on holidays, but literally everybody who is in media at some point, you are going to work a holiday. So it's kind of important early on to acknowledge that, to accept it as just part of what your career is going to be, and really decide if that's something that matters a lot to you. Now, I'll grant you the more seniority you have at times later on in your career, you'll probably be able to get to pick and choose. Like, for example, if you want to be a news anchor, well, my guess is typically your typical weeknight 10 o'clock news anchor is going to have off Christmas Day, and should very well. But if you're coming up through the ranks and you're looking for those opportunities, like we've talked about in previous podcasts, are you willing to work holidays to get those better opportunities, to cut your teeth, to prove you're willing to do it? Now, I'll grant you specifically with Memorial Day, which is tomorrow. It's a bit of an anomaly where it for my job, being that I host a radio show in Baton Rouge, which is a college baseball crazy market. Memorial Day is the day when the college baseball regional tournament field is announced. So there's always a watch party out at LSU with the baseball team that we cover, and then while people are celebrating Memorial Day, however they might be doing it, with family, with friends, with loved ones, around the pool, barbecue, at the beach, whatever it is, we do a show. We do a show because we know on that day where LSU baseball is going to be spending their path to Omaha. Most years it's through Baton Rouge. This year it won't be. We'll know who their opponents are going to be, and we can start to kind of dissect that. And it's always a very highly rated show. It's something that people expect and tune into even on a holiday. So while, it sucks when you go to the building and you pull into the parking lot and there is nobody else in the parking lot. Like the whole building is empty and you're going into work. Like that sucks. But at the same time, it's pretty badass, too, because you realize you're doing something that not everybody's willing to do. And a lot of success-driven people will tell you, if you want to have success, do what other people aren't willing to do to achieve that success. And a lot of times, that's working on holidays. And look, me doing a radio show on Memorial Day is kind of an entry point into this topic, but there are endless examples. Think about how many times on Thanksgiving Day that you've sat down and watched the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Well, think about all the people that are putting on that parade, or all the people that are putting on that broadcast, from the anchors to the camera crew to the director to the people in the truck to everything, the graphics guy, like they're all working on Thanksgiving Day, not with their family. If you watch the NFL on Thanksgiving Day, I mean, you may see the broadcast crew on Fox, like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, and they're working on Thanksgiving Day. And so is the producer, and so is the director, and so are all the camera crews, and so is everybody that had to run all the way down, the guys running cable on the field to make that broadcast go. So it extends so far beyond just the on-air talent, but there are so many careers in media, and some of those are awesome opportunities. And it's just a matter of, are you willing to work for them, and is that something you want to do? Because when people, just if you think about it logically, when people have a holiday off, they're home, and chances are they're going to have the TV on. So there's a lot of programming that happens around holidays, and particularly in sports. And if you want a career in media or in sports media, chances are you're going to work on a holiday. Even, and there's actually another branch to this conversation. While I'm talking specifically about holidays, because that's the context of today, with Memorial Day being tomorrow and me having to do a show tomorrow and all that stuff, but like, even when you consider a lot of the things that you may love to do, you still get to do when you work in media, but you're sacrificing how you get to experience it. Let me explain what I mean. So, like, if you love college football and your goal, like your dream is, like, you want to do play-by-play for college football. Maybe it's TV, maybe it's radio, maybe whatever. But that's your ambition. Well, understand that football Saturdays for you are if you achieve that goal, football Saturdays for you are no longer going to be about tailgating and partying and cheering for your favorite team and doing the band cheers and all that stuff. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. In a sense, you forfeit your fandom for the job. Now, don't get me wrong. It is a blessing to be able to go into these cathedrals of college football or whatever sport it is that you cover and get paid to be at those events to cover them. But it's a very different experience from, like, when I was in college and I was tailgating with my buddies and drinking beer all day and standing in line at the student gate and running into the stadium and getting in the front row and doing all the cheers and leaving to being hoarse and going to the bar after the game. Like, it doesn't exist anymore. It's try to beat traffic, get into the stadium, get some pregame audio, video, whatever you can share via social, watch the game, live tweet the game, chart the game, go to the post-game press conference, gather audio, cut up audio bites, write whatever post-game column that you have to write, and call it a night at 2 or 3 in the morning. Like, it's a full day of work. And it's as I said, it's fun. It's a blessing to be able to do it, but your experience on a game day is not what it was as a fan. So what I would caution anybody that says, I'd love to be in sports media. Yeah, it's awesome. It is. It's such a great way to make a living. You have to pinch yourself sometimes, but you also understand there are sacrifices you make to be able to achieve what you want in that career. And the other part of it as well, going back to, finding your way to get your foot in the door and then building your way up. I mean, if I'll use the play-by-play example again, or even anything. If you want to be a beat writer, cover your favorite college team, or TV, whatever. A lot of times your first gig isn't going to be at. We're in Baton Rouge, of course. I'll use LSU. Like, if you just get out of LSU, a lot of times your first gig isn't going to be covering LSU. Maybe you get a TV gig in Lake Charles and you're covering McNeese football. You're covering an FCS school, and that's where you hone your skills, you cut your teeth, and you wait for a better opportunity to move up to a better market, or bigger market, I should say. So that path and the sacrifices you make are very real, and it's definitely something to consider. And if I just felt it apropos to talk about here with tomorrow being a holiday. And having to work on a holiday, because it's just something that's very real. While your buddies and your family a lot of times get those holidays off, and they get to go enjoy the day and do all the things that you've gotten to do your whole life. Once you're in it and it's your career and it's your profession, you no longer have that luxury many times. So I can tell you, for me firsthand, the days that I get off, that I know I have off, holidays I know I have off the 4th of July, I have off Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Thanksgiving Day. And sometimes New Year's Day, but it really depends on LSU's bowl game, whether or not I have New Year's Day off or not. So, and I've worked New Year's Eve. So it's something that I don't think twice about, because I love my job, and I feel very blessed that I get to do what I do. But I know for a lot of people that are considering a career in media, sometimes maybe that's something you butt up against, and you don't realize that sacrifice that you're going to have to make with some things in your life that you love to do, or even just your opportunity to be with family a lot of times on holidays. So hope that helps. As always, I love getting questions and feedback. I'm so thrilled, man. You can email me, mattmoscona@gmail.com, mattmoscona, mattmoscona@gmail.com. Feedback to any of these episodes, go back and listen. By the way, great news. I should have started with this. We are, of course, on iTunes. We are on Podbean. We are on Spreaker. These podcasts get posted to my YouTube channel as well instantly via Spreaker. So if you have a YouTube account or just want to go youtube.com/Matt Moscona, we're there as well. And great news. We should be, fingers crossed, maybe by the time you're listening to this, on both iHeart and Spotify. The deal to get those done is in the works. So I'm thrilled. I mean, we're not even 3 weeks into doing this podcast, and the growth has been awesome. And I'm so thrilled that we're being able to expand and get this on so many different platforms to make it as easy for you as possible to listen. So, as always, please leave feedback and subscribe. That just helps me tremendously. If you can hit the subscribe button, however you're listening, and rate us, especially on iTunes, that is huge. So, in the meantime, y'all have a great evening, a great day, whenever you might be listening to this. And until next time, this is Daily Scone.